Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see what the game has for me today. We've got the Buccaneer. Alright, well, yar matey, we're gonna jump in with the Buccaneer. This is, of course, one of the Crash Zone characters, or the Abyssal Terrors characters, which we're gonna be trying on Crash Zone here. I think that the Buccaneer is a character that does not get significantly more difficult going from Abyssal Terrors to Crash Zone. We don't care about Curse, though the number of enemies on the field is generally higher, which means that you are more likely to take damage if you fail to generate materials to pick up. Let's roll and see what weapon we get. And we've got the Torch. Well, Torch has consistently impressed me, so we're going to try the Buccaneer with Torch. Now, the attack reset with Torch doesn't matter as much, but should still be reasonably valuable here, because Torch's damage doesn't really come from the weapon attack itself. But this should still give us a decent number of material pickups and let us just keep hitting enemies. I wasn't able to get the tree there, so I probably messed up. I could have got a lot more money if I just hadn't gone after the tree and just kept hitting those enemies. Let's roll, and we'll pick up 5 harvesting, and then we're going to go ahead and buy another torch for more attack resets. We'll take elemental damage off the toxic sludge, and then we'll take another torch. Sharp Bullet doesn't have any use for us right now. Let's go ahead and reroll. Alien Tongue is kind of interesting for this character, but I don't think we need it this early. I'll lock a weird food, and then I'll roll one more time, and we can buy another torch. All right. Pretty good. Torch is a very cheap weapon, so you expect to find a lot of them early, and we were able to do that. Make sure, of course, to pick up materials so that you always have more attacks. Though with Torch, it's not that slow a weapon, so you will be able to get another attack after you get, even if you don't get a material drop from killing one group of enemies, you'll be able to just wait for the natural cooldown of the weapon. Gentle Alien is amazing for Buccaneer. The more enemies there are on the field, of course, the better off you are, because the more often you're going to get your attack speed resets. I could take 6 HP, but I'm just going to take 5 harvesting. This early, I'd rather just get my harvesting going, and then we'll take 5 more harvesting. And then we're going to roll here, buy a torch, roll again, roll again. Okay, well, a little under par, I would say, for the number of torches that we found, though this is a weapon with 2 tags, and one of them is the primitive tag, which is the largest weapon tag in the game, so it does make it a little less likely to find specifically torches when it has 2 weapon tags that you can possibly roll into, and one of them's primitive, so there's a lot of other weapons you can roll. How the shop works is it preferences rolling weapons that you currently have and weapons with tags that you currently have. So weapons with larger tags, where there's more weapons from that tag, and weapons with more tags, you're less likely to roll more of those. I probably, again, should not have gone after the Curse Alien there. I'm spending a little bit too much time hitting these high damage or high health enemies rather than using the burning damage to just clear a bunch of weaker enemies. Armor is too good to pass, probably, so although I still want more harvesting, I'm just going to take the 2 armor. Then we will buy these items, which increases my damage significantly again. The goal, of course, is to get the actual torch weapon attacks, not just the burning, to the point where they kill enemies so that we can constantly be generating more materials. Let's roll here, and we'll lock a lemonade, and then I'll do another reroll because we could get another torch. Lumberjack shirt is great for this build. I think I will also take Baby Gecko, because that's going to pull in materials and help get us more auto attack resets. I always say this when I'm playing a character like Buccaneer, but it is funny that 15 years ago when I started this YouTube channel to do League of Legends videos, a really important mechanic in League of Legends is using animation cancels to reset your auto attack timer, or at least it was 15 years ago when I played League of Legends. And then, of course, we're playing Brotato, and now we're talking about resetting our auto attack timer. Turns out these types of game mechanics are often transferable from game to game. Ugly Tooth, I think we will grab here. I've been less impressed with this item lately, but it's very good for a character like this that does its damage very slowly over time. So Ugly Tooth can help us control the amount of damage we're taking while we're waiting for enemies to die. I'm going to reroll here looking for harvesting. Let's do one more. I missed, unfortunately. Maybe I should have just taken the luck. But I'll just take 6 speed. Our speed is negative, and then 8 damage or 5 harvesting. Let's take 5 harvesting so our harvesting can start growing by 2 every wave. We'll buy these items. We'll take a torch. Alien worm I'm going to pass on. I'm going to just re-roll here. Lost snake we definitely want. Lost duck is kind of interesting. I do want luck, but reducing our elemental damage is a pretty big damage penalty for the character, so let's roll past that and then we'll lock another torch. Small fish I actually don't really want, I think, on this character because a lot of our damage is dealt very slowly, so it just won't be that effective for us in terms of increasing our damage output. We're not really looking to one-shot enemies with a single attack with this character, so at least until much later in the game, so small fish just doesn't really synergize with the plan that we have. Alright, let's get that loot alien lit on fire, and then I can maybe do a bunch of attacks against it if I pick up enough materials to try to kill it. Nice, we got it. Can I get this tree before the end of the wave as well? Nice. All right. I managed to get all of my goals for that wave. Got the loot alien, got the tree. The loot alien came with one of the best items it could have dropped, with 2, which is excellent. And then, yeah, 8 more harvesting. Perfect. We will keep upgrading our torches, and we'll buy a snake, and then roll. Snowball. So this is, if there's ever a snowball run, it's this one. We got it on wave 6, or wave 5 shop, which means it's early enough that we'll get a decent amount of elemental damage. So I'm giving Snowball another chance. I've so often been disappointed by this item, but for this character, it really should be good. So we'll see if we can make it work. We'll take the torch, duct tape, and scar, of course, and then go straight to wave 6 here. I do need to boost the base damage of my torches because I took the fertilizer, which reduced it. So now we do 4 damage a hit instead of 5, which is definitely a real reduction. This character can buy melee damage. You prefer to buy elemental damage because the elemental damage helps with your burning damage as well as your attacks. But melee damage you buy at twice the rate, so it can still be very, very useful to buy melee damage on this character as well. The snake is helping out because you can see it did a bunch of extra damage to that loot alien for us as well, because the fire spread to it from one of the other enemies. Kill that tree, and making 250 on wave 6, that's pretty good. I'll take a turret. If we get scared sausage, that can help spread fire around. It also will break trees for us because we have lumberjack shirt. Could go with pocket factory if we get that later on too. I'll take some regen here, and then 10 luck because we have none. Scar, torch, and duct tape are all good. Let's roll here. I'll take the recycling machine. I don't need dynamite. We don't have any explosion effects currently, so let's roll past that. Saltwater is going to be, I guess it's negative elemental, but +2 melee. It increases my attack speed, which we don't care about that much. I think on the whole, the saltwater just isn't that worth it. But we will take a helmet. Baby elephant is kind of interesting for this character as well. We do kind of want just damage that we splash all over the map. Glass cannon I should probably buy, even though my armor will take a big hit. The glass cannon is going to be really valuable for the amount of damage that we will do. I'm debating the baby elephant. I think we won't take it here. I'm going to take alien worm. I do want to boost my regen, and we've already got weird food and lemonade, so I think we can afford it. You have to kill the healer on this map, because if you don't, then all of your burning damage will just be completely negated. Those healers heal for 100 HP a pulse as they run around the map, so letting them live even slightly means that it will undo like 10 solid seconds of attacking for this character. The game does not telegraph very well that those are healers, and I think that that's something that gets a lot of newer players in trouble, is not knowing that those are healers and then just not being able to kill anything on wave 7, especially if they have a fairly low damage setup. So knowing that those are healers and prioritizing killing them is very important. I'm about to buy 12% damage. I think I'm going to roll here. I'm looking for armor, but I'll take regeneration as well. I do want more healing. And then I've got enough to buy all of these items, right? So that's perfect. We can get our torch to level 3. Now that we've got all our torches to at least level 2, I'm going to get one to level 4 as soon as possible to max out our burning damage. Then we'll take our free reroll. Lure, of course, the best thing we could find. Baby Gecko is still nice to continue resetting our attack timer. And Lucky Charm we will take as well. I still need more just base damage. Also, I'm pretty sure Snowball is still sitting at 0, by the way. Just in case you were wondering how Snowball is going in this case. I really think that item needs some adjustment. I've seen a lot of suggestions, like letting it trigger off of taking elemental damage in the level up screen, like it just giving you 2 elemental damage, or an increasing amount per elemental damage that you pick up, so it would literally snowball. A lot of different options, but right now, it is just so inefficient in terms of how long you have to wait for it to give you value and how much value it doesn't give you, that I think that item just needs some adjustment. Of course, in like really long endless runs with elemental damage, it's going to be strong, but elemental damage is a weak enough strategy for endless runs anyways, that I think an item that contributed to strong elemental endless strategies would be really fun. I'm going to take the incendiary turret here. It is worth 48 materials, which is a lot, but this is still a decent amount of extra damage over the field. And then here I'll take 2 elemental damage. I just want to make sure my damage is increasing, and I'm going to take 4 melee damage to offset the penalty that we're about to take as well. I want my weapons to actually hit for slightly less than wet noodle status. Go ahead and buy all these items and then roll. I'll still take fertilizer. We'll still take lemonade. Snail could be interesting with my ugly tooth, but I've got negative movement speed, so I think we're just going to pass on that and do a reroll. And then this is perfect. This is exactly the type of stuff that we need. I don't remember what weapon I used on Buccaneer in the Abyssal Terrors random run. I'm starting to get the sneaking sense that it might have been Torch, which would be funny if I just played a second Torch run. But Torch has just been so consistently strong as a weapon that I really think people are undervaluing this weapon. I have just found that Torch has just been excellent every character I've gotten it on. You get decent wave clear, and you get the primitive weapon tag. It increases its own damage with the elemental weapon tag. So this weapon just seems very good after the buffs. All right, I just checked and it was Cacti Club, not Torch. So we're in the clear. I'm going to go ahead and recycle this tardigrade. Blocking the first instance of damage that we take is just not that valuable because it's the second instance of damage that will kill us. Lost Duck, I'm going to recycle as well. I still don't want to reduce my damage. And Gummy Berserker, I don't want to reduce my armor. So the recycling machine really paying dividends there. I'm going to take 9% dodge. I feel like this character will probably want to build dodge eventually, so I'm going to start investing in that a little bit earlier. And then I could roll for movement speed. I could take 2 armor, or I could take 3 regen. Let's just go ahead and take 2 armor. I could also have taken elemental damage there, but I really want the defensive stats, because we're not going to be able to kill the elite, so I need to be able to tank through it. So I'm going to buy at least some armor and regeneration before we get there. Go ahead and buy a level 4 torch to max out our burning damage, and then we'll take lemonade and cake, and then roll. The Thunder Sword would be a nice one if we were allowed to buy it. Bone Dice, I could lose a decent amount of HP for some percent damage. Our percent damage isn't great. Let's take the Bone Dice. It'll take a little bit to pay off, but I think it's worth grabbing. Torch has 1.5x crit damage, and we just really do not want to invest in crit chance, I think, for this character, so I don't think Hunting Trophy is going to be worth it. Baby Elephant for only 50 I will pick up, though. Again, we just want to splash damage around the field. And then I guess I'll take another one. Plasma Sledge, of course, we can't buy, but it would be pretty nice. Snake I will take here, and then Treasure Map we'll grab as well. Also, Bone Dice, -1 HP, 0 damage. Classic. And then, yeah, I guess we're taking Whistle and Torch also. So we'll buy both of these items, we'll lock the missile, and then I'm going to roll. Jetpack is pretty great. Of course, we will need to buy more armor because I'm reducing my armor, but movement speed and dodge are both stats we really want before we fight the elite, and I'll take the defective steroids also. So that was a pretty nice shot for us, as it should have been because we had 600 materials to spend, but we managed to get a lot of value out of that. We've got double baby gecko as well to go with our double baby elephant. So this character could also be kind of a luck damage build. We can definitely have that as a secondary option. And we'll probably buy things like Pocket Factory if we find them. We'll buy Scared Sausage if we find it, of course. So this character has a lot of outs to end up with more strategies baked into our plan as well. Currently, we're just focused on our weapon damage, and the burning effect of our attacks, but there's a lot of different directions we can go. I'll definitely take Vigilante Ring. This will have plenty of time to build percent damage for us. Broken Mouth is great. We're very happy with that. Here, I'm going to reroll. I'm looking for armor or regeneration, and I think I'm going to pass on luck and percent damage and elemental damage as well. Yeah, let's just take 3 armor here. Because I'm about to reduce my armor with the jetpack, I definitely want more armor. And then I'm going to buy that. We don't care about losing attack speed because we're the Buccaneer. We reset our attacks anyways. Defective steroids, great. And Sif's Relic, basically the best thing we could find. It is redundant with our double geckos, but it is exactly what this character wants in terms of being able to reset our attacks very frequently. So all we have to do is get past this elite, and I think we're in very solid shape. Set those guys on fire. I'm going to hit the elite a few times. I wanted to check my damage against it, but our weapons only attack for like 10 damage a shot, so I think we're just going to be better off just running away from the elite this wave. We do have burning damage, but I feel like we would just be having to play too risky in order to try to kill the elite, and it's not particularly worth it for this character to take that risk at this point, because our win condition is basically making it out of this wave alive, and then we should be very well set up for the rest of the run. Recognizing your win condition and kind of what you have to do to win a specific run is really important, and something that you should have as your in the back of your mind as you go into a run is what is gonna lose us the run, like what things could go wrong, and what can we do to mitigate that? What will the character look like at the point where it's guaranteed to win the run is an important question to know the answer to. I'm going to recycle Chameleon here. It's 3 dodge is fine, but for -4 damage, not worth 94 materials. And then let me reroll this, and I'm going to reroll again. I'll just take 9 max HP. That's totally fine. Do one more reroll here also, and I guess I'll take 8% damage. We don't really need more harvesting. We have such a nice amount anyways. I really want more defensive stats, but I will also take more offensive stats as well. Sif's Relic, Defective Steroids. I could start building some Lifesteal on this character. Given that we have a lot of attack resets, Lifesteal is not an unreasonable way to heal. And since regeneration is kind of our main pain point right now, is that we just aren't able to maintain our HP, I think items like Bat are going to be pretty good. The best item that we could find is actually a bunch of cute monkeys to heal off of pulling in materials. That would be the easiest way for us to just completely solve our healing problems. Jerky is also very high up there. I'll take Cauldron and Ritual, and we're going to pass on the Little Frog because I actually do want to build dodge with this character. I think we're about to get our very first point of snowball damage when we get to buy this campfire. And I think also we just got our very first point in like 6 rerolls of bone dice damage. So situational items not proving super effective currently, but we are about to derive a small amount of value from them. This wave, again, we've got to kill the healers. Otherwise, they're going to keep these very high health groupings of enemies alive for very much longer. I also, of course, want to kill the curse alien if I can. It is nice that we get this constant influx of materials, so I can actually focus my attacks on one enemy. Normally on the Buccaneer, it's very hard to focus down individual high health targets because then you're not killing other stuff to reset your attacks. But since this character's damage is all dealt without me actually hitting the enemies, and then it pulls in materials because we have Sif's Relic, we can chase something like a Curse Alien or Loot Alien and actually kill it. I'll take Little Muscly Dude. I'll take the Bait as well. I feel like the 8% damage is fine. Let's reroll here. I don't need attack speed again on this character, so I'm just going to take 3 regeneration. Handle, we still definitely don't want, even though it does give me 5 elemental damage, but lowering the number of enemies on the field would be horrible for us. I will buy these items, and then we'll do a reroll. We will upgrade our torch, and I do want Garden also. That's quite a lot of healing. So I think I'll take the torch, lock the Garden, do one more roll. Rip and Tear is another way to just do kind of random damage around the map, which is what this character wants to do, so we'll buy that as well. That gives us a stronger incentive to pick up melee damage also, but mostly it's just because it does a little bit of damage to every enemy on the field on average, and that's all this character wants to do, is to just slowly do a bunch of damage to every enemy on the field and kill them slowly over time. We are going to need much better healing than we currently have or a lot more dodge for next wave, because we're going into wave 14, which is the real challenge for this character, and it's a wave 14 horde wave. So we're going to be constantly chipped down by the projectiles of the summons. Making sure that we can survive that is our main priority in the next couple shops. And wave 13 also is not going to give us that much help with that, because this is a lot of really high health enemies, which this character is not good at killing small numbers of high health enemies. We do much better when there's a lot of low health enemies, since then we get our attack resets, which increase our DPS significantly. Metal detector I will take here. I'm going to reroll this. I'm looking for regeneration, I think. I could take 2 elemental damage or 4 melee damage as well, or 6 HP, but let's roll. And yeah, I'm just going to take 3 regen, because my concern is just staying alive this next wave. I'm still buying the turret just in case we find Scared Sausage here. We'll take the boiling water as well, and then I'll do a reroll, and then go to the next wave also. You really don't need a lot of engineering to make items like turret good, because we spent 50 materials on it, but if it hits just a few enemies a few times, then that'll be 50 kills that we wouldn't have gotten without it, right? It just needs to do enough damage to give us a kill on an enemy a few times. It doesn't need to itself kill 50 enemies on its own. It needs to get 50 enemies to the damage threshold where our other random damage will kill them. And I think that that's something that people often miss when they look at these spread out damage builds, is that all of those types of damage synergize very well with one another, because all of them lower the amount of damage that each of the other one needs to do in order to actively get a kill. Basically, every little bit of damage we have on the field lowers the total amount of enemy health on the field and makes us more likely to kill stuff. I'm going to take the dodge here, and then this is a great shop for us. I'll take the whetstone. I think for 35 materials, we've got a decent engineering sub-theme. I will take the pencil here. We don't care about losing either of these stats either, and we get a free reroll, which makes it more worth it. And then let's go ahead and buy another torch. Going down to 6 armor is painful, but going to 100% damage boost is pretty nice, so we'll take the glass cannon. We'll take silver bullet, and we'll take goat skull as well. More melee damage on our weapon attacks just means more damage that we're doing. And once our torches have scaled to maximum, just any melee damage or elemental damage we have are scaling at full, are giving us full damage scaling for our weapons, so we're going to be able to kill the elites much faster. I love Buccaneer, and I really like Torch these days, too, so this is just a really fun run. Would have liked to get a Scared Sausage and a Pocket Factory. so we could be spreading fire around more. We've got double snake already. Frozen heart would be a really nice find. Obviously, Greek fire would be incredible. Anything that increased our structure attack speed would be pretty nice for this build also, because we have a decent number of structures and a garden, so Clockwork Wasp would be great. Improved tools, obviously, would not be good, because we have negative 120 attack speed, or however many we have. Go ahead and kill these loot aliens. Our economy is in great shape, considering how few economy items we found. We got very good harvesting, but we did not find that much in the way of economy. The campfire, so I believe this will work for snowball, so we should go up to 18 elemental damage. And then insanity, we don't have any use for crit chance on this build, so we're just recycling it. And here we will just take 4 more regeneration. All right, here's a bag. That's a little bit of bonus economy even this late. And then terrified onion, I could buy. I think I will. It comes at a pretty hefty discount of 17 materials, and it's also a unique item if we find fairy, that kind of thing, and the movement speed will be very helpful to survive the upcoming elite. Baby elephant we will grab. Lantern I'll take. Pencil I'm not going to buy when it doesn't come at a discount, so we're just going to roll past that, but we will buy the coupon, and we'll lock the Tyler as well, for again, just more random damage around the map. Gotta make sure to kill these buffing aliens, otherwise we're gonna end up with too many buffed enemies on the field. And again, the goal of this, with this type of burning or luck-based damage build, like if you're playing the Lucky, rather than thinking of the individual health of enemies, it can be helpful to think of just trying to reduce the total health pool of all of the enemies. So getting rid of the healers and the buffing aliens reduces just the total amount of health that enemies have on the field at any given time. It means that you're going to kill stuff a lot faster. We also have to be aware that at this point in the game, not every enemy is going to drop a material by default. Buccaneer makes that true right from the beginning, but only like a third of the enemies on the field right now are going to be dropping materials, so we have to kill lots of enemies at once in order to actually gain the material drops and have more enemies die. We'll take another Rip and Tear. Terrified Onion, I don't really need more movement speed, and I don't want to lose luck. I'll take a Boxing Glove for 1 melee damage, that's fine. I think I'm just going to take 6 dodge here. I do want to get to dodge cap pretty soon, and then we will take all of these items. Perfect. Then we can do a reroll. Bean Teacher and Landmines, I think I'm going to pass on both of. We don't have a Scared Sausage for the Landmines, and their damage is a lot lower than a turret's damage. And Bean Teacher this late I don't think is going to be that valuable, so I'll roll past it. But I'm going to lock these 3 items. Do I take the Medical Turret as well? I don't think we need Medical Turret, but all of these are great increases to our damage. Black Flag is going to be a little bit late to pay off, but I think it will still pay off before the end of the run, and it's just such a powerful item. Although I guess, actually, I shouldn't take the Black Flag here because this is Crash Zone, so I shouldn't have locked it. On Abyssal Terrors, we would have enough curse just from having killed curse aliens and stuff that the Black Flag would be worth 100 material a wave or so. But on Crash Zone here, we don't have that many cursed enemies. So I don't think we will make our money back from Black Flag and shouldn't buy it. A rare Black Flag pass from me. And you can tell how rare it is by the fact that I didn't even consider passing it until we got into the wave and I thought, oh, there's only like 20 cursed enemies a wave, so it'll take forever to pay for itself. Now that we have decent damage on our actual weapon attacks, we were able to kill the elite pretty effectively. And of course, because we've built tanky, we could run next to it and not have to worry too much about our health. We'll take the goat skull here. Panda, an amazing find. We did need a little bit more max HP, and losing 5% damage, definitely a downside, but all of these other stats are excellent. I'm going to take the dodge over the melee damage, though. I do want to hit dodge cap really soon. I'm going to not buy Black Flag. I'm not buying Baby Gecko. We've already got a Sift's Relic, but we will buy these other 2. Go ahead and roll here. We don't want Butterfly. Let's roll again. Okay, Energy Bracelet. We will take. This also gives us another elemental damage, so pretty happy there. We'll take the Bait Plastic explosive, I do have double rip and tear, which primarily does scale with explosion size. So I think, although it's only for wave 19, I don't think that the plastic explosive is going to be worth it for just wave 19 and just these rip and tears. So we're going to roll past it and look for stuff that will help us more at fighting the bosses, which is now our next goal for this character, is to make sure that we can kill the bosses efficiently. Or survive. So we're just looking for damage and dodge, basically. And any healing that we can get is nice as well. You'll often see... a question I get a lot is stuff like, why did you pass explosion size when you had a rip and tear? Why did you pass, engineering when you had pocket factory? And often the answer is that that's not our main plan for a character, and you need to focus in on what your main plan is. And so even though it does synergize with an item that we have, if that item isn't something that the character really cares about, making it better isn't that important. The question was whether Rip and Tear is good enough to buy on its own, not whether we should build our entire character around maximizing Rip and Tear. And for this character, the answer was, yes, it's good enough to buy on its own, but we don't really need to boost its power, especially only for one wave, because we'd be spending 170 materials on getting nowhere near enough damage to recoup that. I could take 20 luck here, but I think I'm going to roll because I really want regen or armor or dodge, and I think of those the stats we were offered, armor's the most important. We also don't need another Rip and Tear at this point because wave clear for wave 19 is just not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about dying to the bosses, so we're going to roll for stuff that helps us with that. We'll take the plant, we'll take the torch. Roll here. Nail, I've got positive engineering, so this could make all of our weapons hit very slightly harder. It's basically, what's that? +2 damage, so I'm spending 190 on +2 damage on all of our weapons, and then that gets multiplied, of course, by our percent damage. I don't think the nail is worth it either. Let's roll here. Peaceful Bee I will take. I'll lose a melee damage to get 4 dodge when our dodge is this close to maximum. Garden can help keep us alive for sure. Barricade we don't need either. We're not going to be standing still that frequently. Coil, that's a lot of damage. We've ended up somehow with a ton of knockback. Oh, right, the lantern. So, yeah, the coil's 20% damage. That's really nice, actually. Just punting those enemies into the sky because we do have the lantern knockback. So I'd really like to hit dodge cap, and any more damage we can get to kill the bosses faster would be really good as well. But mostly this character is very well set up for the end of the game, I would say. Didn't end up... The structures, like these turrets, ended up being okay. Obviously, a big part of their potential value was if we had gotten a scared sausage, which would have made them amazing. Since we didn't, they ended up being fine, but not great, but I'm still happy to have bought them. $800 materials on wave 19, not that incredible, but not terrible either. 12% dodge, that's going to help us tank through the elites much more effectively. We'll take the garden and the coil for sure. We'll take a goat skull as well. Just any more damage that we can get when we attack these enemies is great. We'll take another one and a mutation also. Wait, did I not get a snowball proc off the mutation? I guess I just didn't see the graphic. I think we did, but 5 elemental damage, 15 waves later on the snowball is very typical for that item. We'll definitely upgrade our torch, and I could take the snake. I don't think we really need it, but we're not going to get anything else good, so I might as well just buy it. And this can help us potentially get more attack resets as more enemies die in the next wave, and then kill the bosses just that much faster. Let's go ahead and go to wave 20 and see if we can make it. Definitely want to keep these enemies on fire all the time, since that's a big chunk of our damage output. And the more we can hit both of them with the same attack, the more we can reduce their total health pools. This character will not kill them quickly enough to be able to focus them down one at a time, I think. So we want to stack damage, even if it means we're spending more time with both of them in their second stages and it's a little harder to dodge. It's more important that we kill them fast, I think. Can always just back off from them and regenerate. We've got jerky and very good consumable healing, and we've got some gardens. So we have a lot of tools to just heal back up if we need to, if I start taking too many hits. I did vacuum up all of the fruits there. I meant to only grab like 1 or 2, but I miscalculated my pickup radius. But it's fine. We didn't need all of that healing, and we are able to kill both bosses. And that is a win with Buccaneer on Crash Zone. All right, my friends, let's take a look at our items here. So we've got the Ugly Tooth. I think the Ugly Tooth ended up being pretty good for this build, even though it was nerfed significantly. We're often hitting enemies a lot because our actual weapon attacks weren't that strong. So slowing all the enemies was very valuable. The Snowball, it ended up being 5 elemental damage, so it was fine, but it sure took a long time to get there. And we could easily have passed this and been just fine. The Recycling Machine, 198, not the most amazing payoff from Recycling Machine. I think we got a little unlucky on number of crates dropped this run, and so Recycling Machine didn't have as much opportunity to pay off. Incendiary Turret did very well. Bone Dice, oof. That is... So, the normal expectation is that you get 5% damage for every HP you lose. We got 2% damage for every 2.5% damage for every HP we lost. So yeah, we ran really cold on the Bone Dice. Now, this is still a totally fine outcome. 11% damage for 4 HP you might pay, but very unlucky rolls on the Bone Dice. Baby Elephant did great. Treasure Map was great, even though it only hit 2 items. That's still an amazing return on the Treasure Map. 30 damage from Vigilante Ring is excellent as well. The Jerky was awesome. Once we found that, our healing problems basically disappeared. 120 materials from Bag, which we got pretty late, so not bad there, and 106 saved from Coupon, which again we got pretty late, so paid for itself, although just barely. I guess the Tyler did 8k damage, so not amazing, but not horrible either. Alright, my friends, that was the Buccaneer with torches. That was a really fun run. Honestly, I recommend this run very highly. I really enjoyed it. Managing burning enemies and then resetting the attacks with our actual weapons was super fun. So definitely recommend giving this run a try if you're looking for a fun run. And of course, if you have enjoyed the video, then you can feel free to leave a comment and hit that like button. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.